What if I told you that everything you've been taught about what women want, confidence, money, looks, was only the surface of a much darker, much deeper truth? A truth that isn't spoken openly, not in schools, not by parents, and rarely even by women themselves. A truth that decides who she gives her loyalty to, who she desires in silence, and who she quietly discards. You think you know, but you don't. And over the next minutes, we're going to pull apart the layers, one by one, until the secret that no one told you about women stands in front of you, undeniable. The kind of truth you can't unhear once it's in your head. Most men step into adulthood carrying illusions about women, illusions handed down by movies, by half-truths from friends, and by the polite lies society tells to keep everything neat and acceptable. We're told women want kindness, that they crave safety, that love is simple if only we give enough of ourselves. But if that were the truth, then why do so many men, good men, end up broken, discarded, or quietly replaced? Why does loyalty seem so fragile, even when a man has done everything right? The answer isn't that women are cruel. It's that the story you were given was never the real one. There are hidden rules beneath the surface, rules that operate in silence, rules that even women don't always admit to themselves, rules that decide desire, loyalty, and power. Think of it this way. Every man walks into a game, but most don't even know the game is being played. They believe effort alone will win them love. They never see the invisible choices shaping her attraction, the instincts that whisper to her before she even understands them herself. You'll recognize the signs she gives without words, the signals buried in her silence. But before we reach that truth, we need to dismantle the biggest lie you've been told. The biggest lie you've been told is that women don't know what they want. Men repeat it like a mantra. She's confusing, unpredictable, impossible to understand. But that's only half the picture. The truth is, women know exactly what they want, just not in the way you've been taught to think. What confuses men is not her lack of direction, but the fact that her choices are guided by instincts far older, far more ruthless than modern society wants to admit. Think about it. A woman may tell you she values kindness, yet she feels drawn to the man who doesn't bend for her approval. She may say, stability matters, yet her heart races for the one who carries risk in his eyes. To the man on the outside, it looks like contradiction. To her biology, it's perfect logic. This is why so many men end up frustrated. They chase the words she says, not the signals she follows. They take her explanations as truth, never realizing that her real compass is something deeper, something unspoken. And here's the dangerous part. These instincts don't just shape who she loves. They decide who she tests, who she respects, and who she quietly forgets. The men who fail to see this are left asking the same bitter question. Why wasn't I enough? Every man asks this when she pulls away without warning, when her interest dies without explanation, when another man suddenly holds her attention. Most men believe it's because they lacked something: more money, more looks, more status. But here's the truth. Women don't measure men on a single scale. They are not searching for one thing you can improve overnight. Instead, every woman is unconsciously weighing a man against a silent checklist, one written not by her culture, but by thousands of years of survival. She doesn't sit down and think about it. She feels it. Her instincts scan you the way a predator scans the wild. For strength, for conviction, for the ability to stand when others would break. This is why a man can do everything right and still lose her attention. Because what she's drawn to isn't perfection. It's power, not the shallow kind that buys cars or clothes. but the quiet power that shows in how you carry yourself when no one is watching. She notices how you speak when others doubt you. She sees whether you crumble under pressure or whether you remain unshaken. These moments tell her more than gifts, compliments, or promises ever could. And here's the part that unsettles men the most. This desire isn't negotiable. You can't talk her out of it. You can't buy your way past it. You can't fake it for long. You either embody it or you don't. And once you see how this silent checklist works, you'll understand why so many men are discarded without warning, while others are desired in ways that defy logic. It begins with one thing: how you respond to pressure. Not when life is calm, not when everything's in your favor, but when chaos hits. That's when she sees who you really are. Because every woman, consciously or not, is drawn to the man who stays composed when others lose control. The man who doesn't beg for validation when she grows distant. The one who can look into uncertainty and remain unmoved. That's not arrogance. It's emotional sovereignty. Women feel it instantly. It's the difference between a man whose world depends on her approval and a man who already carries his own gravity. She doesn't want to complete you. She wants to orbit what she respects. You can see it in her eyes when she loses respect. Something inside her quietly switches off. She stops admiring, stops listening, stops feeling drawn. It's not anger, it's detachment. And once that switch flips, no amount of pleading or proving can bring it back. And here's what most men never understand. She doesn't test you to hurt you. She tests to see you. Every emotional push, every moment of silence, every sudden shift in tone, it's not random. It's instinct. She's looking for the crack in your armor, not to destroy you, but to understand if you're real. Because deep down, she doesn't crave comfort. She craves certainty. Certainty that when everything falls apart, you won't. Presence, not charm, not smooth talk. Presence, the kind that makes a room shift when you walk in, even if you don't say a word. It's not about dominance or noise. It's about stillness. A man who carries weight without trying to prove it. Women can sense it instantly. When you speak, do your words come from a place of need or from calm conviction? When she looks into your eyes, does she feel a storm of insecurity or the quiet control of someone who knows himself? Because presence isn't built overnight. It's carved from discipline, from solitude, from moments where you faced yourself and didn't flinch. That's the energy she feels. That's what separates the man she flirts with from the one she can't forget. The next is mystery, not games, not manipulation. Mystery is restraint, the refusal to be fully known. In a world where most men overshare their every thought, the one who moves in silence becomes unforgettable. She can't decode him, and that's what pulls her in. Together, presence and mystery create polarity, the magnetic tension between what she sees and what she can't reach. It's the same tension that fuels desire itself. And here's the secret most men never grasp. The moment you explain yourself too much, you collapse that polarity. You stop being the flame and become the candle begging not to go out. Most men believe women are searching for love, but that's only half the truth. What she's really searching for is emotion, not chaos, not drama. Emotion, depth, the feeling of being alive in your presence. The reason she tests you isn't because she wants conflict. It's because she wants to feel that she's with a man who cannot be broken by her storms. When she pulls away, she's not always rejecting you. Sometimes she's reaching for proof that you can hold her chaos without losing yourself, that your center doesn't collapse when she shakes it. Because if it does, she can't trust you with her vulnerability. That's what most men never realize. Her tests aren't about dominance. They're about safety. Not physical safety, but emotional. She needs to feel that your strength isn't just in words, but in your calm, your patience, your silence. She's not drawn to men who control her. She's drawn to men who contain her, who make her storms feel smaller just by standing still. And here's where most men fail. They argue instead of understand. They trade power for peace, not realizing she only respects the man who can offer both. Because deep down, what she really craves isn't to lead. It's to surrender, but only to someone strong enough to deserve it. And when she finally finds that strength, she doesn't just stay, she devotes. So what does she really want? Not your money, not your looks, not even your love in the way you've been taught to give it. What she truly wants is a man she can believe in. A man whose words mean something, because his actions already said them first. A man who doesn't chase approval, because he moves from principle, not desire. She wants to feel in her bones that your world doesn't collapse if she walks away, that your identity isn't built from her attention. That's the paradox of female desire. She wants to feel safe enough to let go, but only around a man who doesn't need her to feel whole. And when she feels that calm, grounded presence, something ancient awakens inside her. Respect, admiration, devotion. It's not forced, it's not logical, it's instinct. Because at her core, what she seeks isn't dominance or romance. It's alignment, the alignment of strength and heart, of control and compassion, the balance between a man who can lead her into chaos and still bring her safely back. That's what she's been searching for, often without realizing it herself. So no, she doesn't want everything. She just wants him, the man who knows who he is, even when she forgets who she's supposed to be. Because in a world full of loud men trying to prove their worth, the quiet man who already knows it becomes unforgettable. And when you become that man, she doesn't choose you. She follows you. Here's the truth no one tells you. What she really wants isn't luxury, charm, or your endless attention. Those things might pull her in for a while, but they don't hold her. What she truly wants is peace. A peace she can't find within herself, but one she feels the moment she's in the presence of a man who doesn't flinch. Because her world is loud, filled with emotion, doubt, and the chaos of constant overthinking. Every day, she's at war with her own mind. And when she meets a man whose eyes don't waver, whose voice doesn't shake, whose presence quiets the noise, she feels something ancient. Safety, stillness, direction. You become her calm in the storm. Not by dominance, not by control, but by stability. You don't mirror her chaos, you absorb it. You don't argue with her feelings, you understand them. And in that moment, she finally exhales. She lets go of control. Not because she's weak, but here's the paradox. The moment you need her peace, you lose it. You can't pretend calmness to gain approval. You must become it. That's your work, your discipline, your purpose. Build a life that already fulfills you. One where your presence has gravity, depth, and meaning. Then let her orbit it, freely, because the truth is simple. When you no longer need her to feel whole, that's when she'll finally want you completely. That's what she's been searching for. That's what she really wants.